What would you do if you won the lottery? Would you be wise with your money? Or would you end up on a list like this of the dumbest lottery winners? Number 8. Jack Whittaker. Winning the lottery is a dream of almost every person on Earth. But while several people have gone on to improve their lives after winning the lottery, there are many people that were so dumb that they just blew their money away. Jack Whittaker's story is a mixed one that will leave you confused whether he was really a dumb person or just someone blessed with an equal dose of good and bad luck. In 2002, Whittaker, the president of a construction company in Putnam County, West Virginia, already possessed a net worth of $17 million. But the rich get richer. He won $314.9 million in a Powerball payout that turned out to be the largest in the history of the American lottery. Whittaker chose the cash option of $115 million after taxes. After that, his life was wrecked by a plague of unfortunate events, starting with his car being broken into while parked at a strip club in Cross Lanes, West Virginia in 2003. Thieves made off with about $500,000 in cash that Jack had just left on the front seat of his car. And when questioned by the cops why he carried around so much money, he replied, "Because I have it." Who goes to the strip club and leaves all that money in an unlocked car in the parking lot? Jack Whittaker does. And in 2004, it happened again. This time, the thieves got away with $200,000. His bad luck didn't end there, though. First, his 19-year-old granddaughter's boyfriend was found dead in Whittaker's residence after an overdose of drugs. Then, in 2004, his granddaughter was found dead with her body wrapped in a plastic bag and dumped behind a van. In 2009, Brandy's mother and Whittaker's 42-year-old daughter were found dead of unknown circumstances. In 2016, Whittaker's home caught fire and burnt down to the ground. Adding to the avalanche of bad juju, several people also sued him for multiple reasons like bounced checks, forgery, etc. And to top it all off, Whittaker had a compulsive gambling and fondness for strip clubs that ultimately resulted in him losing all his money. Winning the Powerball was without doubt a plague for Jack Whittaker. Was the money cursed? Number 7. Callie Rogers. When a 16-year-old wins a lottery, it could end up being a blessing or a curse. At 16, Callie Rogers from Cumbria became the youngest Briton to win a Lotto Jackpot of more than £1.8 million in 2003. At the time, she was living in foster care and only making £360 an hour as a checkout girl at the store. The win definitely turned her life around. But instead of investing or saving, she began living a wild lifestyle that consisted of nothing but spending. Callie spent thousands on a couple of breast enhancement surgeries, clothes, jewelry, traveling, tattoos, and even purchasing sports cars. Sadly, her life took a turn for the worse when she got hooked on cocaine and ended up spending £25,000 on it. She gave lavish gifts to her gold-digging boyfriends and friends. The only smart thing that Callie did was to purchase a bungalow for herself and one for her mother. In just 10 years, Callie was down to her last £2,000. Distraught over her losses, she even tried taking her own life, but eventually turned it around and worked it out. Nowadays, Callie is 32 and a mom of 3. She speaks out against young kids being able to play the lottery. She said, "It was too much money for someone so young. Even if you say your life won't change, it does, and often not for the better. I was too young to win the lottery. It nearly broke me, but thankfully, I'm stronger than ever." Callie insists she is much happier now that she lives a normal life. So I guess she learned a lesson here. It's okay, Callie. Hey, real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're smelling what I'm selling, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Number 6. Michael Carroll. If there is one person on this list who can tell you how to blow up a fortune, it's Michael Carroll, who is a classic example of dumb people who won the lottery. Michael was living in England and worked as a garbage man back in 2002. As usual, Lady Luck, with her poor eyesight, smiled on him, and he won a whopping jackpot of £9.7 million. That works out to roughly $15 million at the time. Yet, what did he do with all that money? You guessed it, he blew it up. Well, not literally, that would be really dumb. Michael Carroll's jackpot disappeared as fast as he had won it. The self-styled King of the Shavs lavished millions of pounds on his friends, on partying, buying expensive gifts for his family members, fast cars, and new girlfriends every day. He also began spending hundreds of thousands on drugs. He smoked 2,000 pounds worth of crack cocaine every day and hosted drug parties at his home in Downham, Norfolk. Unfortunately, the party ended when Carroll found he had no money left and was jolted back to reality. But that wasn't all, because his life of misery was only about to begin. Because of his excessive lifestyle, Carroll's wife left him, taking their daughter with her too. In 2004, he was also jailed for 5 months after failing to comply with a drug rehab order. By 2009, he had sold his fleet of luxury cars valued at £400,000. In February 2010, he was declared bankrupt and began living off £42 a week. In 2008, people he had bought drugs from horribly killed 12 of his dogs and ran him out of town. He has never returned. Number 5. Etta May Urkhart. This one is kind of sad. 76-year-old Etta May Urkhart's story will teach you that when you win a lottery, you can't really trust anyone but your bank. Here is a woman who won one of the largest lottery payouts in history, which was an astounding $51 million. Etta Urkhart's $51 million jackpot in 2011 was the largest win to ever happen in Kern County, California. She and her family opted for a lump sum cash payment of $32.3 million before taxes. All that money would have gone a pretty long way in a cushiony retirement, but Etta made the poor decision of trusting her son, Urender. Etta allowed him to sign for the ticket and take the money, hoping he would take care of her. But instead, he blew it all, and she ended up having to sue her own son in 2013. Once Urender signed for the lottery ticket, he was declared the official winner of the prize money. After collecting, rather than invest and take care of his mother, he went on a shopping spree. He purchased 4 houses, 10 cars, a motorhome, and a whole lot of other random stuff. Investigations revealed he had also made cash gifts of about $350,000 to each of his daughters. Etta declared in her lawsuit that she only received $125,000 in cash and an SUV. She did not even live in a house of her own. It was owned by her son. She decided she couldn't take it anymore. She sued Urender in court, resulting in the judge freezing his assets. After a year, both mother and son came to a mutual but undisclosed settlement. I wouldn't call Etta a dumb lottery winner. She loved her family and truly believed her son would do the right thing. I would call her son a dumb lottery taker. Number 4, Janet Leigh. You have to hand it to Janet Leigh, who will teach you that there are also excesses to being a good Samaritan. Janet Leigh, who won millions in 1993, ended up bankrupt just 8 short years later in 2001, and all because she gave it away. A majority went to politicians seeking donations for their poll campaigns. Slimy politicians, man. Leigh, a wig shop owner in downtown St. Louis, hit it big, winning the Illinois lottery with a jackpot payout of $18 million. She received her win in 20 annual installments of $620,000 after taxes. The first thing that she did was purchase a house in a pretty nice neighborhood for $1.2 million. All right, that's not too bad so far. But after that, she began donating huge amounts of money to organizations, educational institutions, and churches. She donated $1.5 million to the Washington University Law School and has a reading room named after her. $1.5 million for your name on a door? While that was commendable, Leigh began donating to politicians of the Democratic Party, and before long, several who didn't even know who she was flocked to her for financial support. Whether she did all this for fame and recognition, no one knows, but soon she became one of the top individual donors to the National Democratic Party Committee in 1997, donating $277,000 to various candidates over the next 3 years. Lee was invited to fundraising luncheons where she sat next to people like Al Gore and Hillary Clinton. She was even invited to a state dinner at the White House for South Korean President Kim Dae-jung. Unfortunately, giving away money like that doesn't always change your life for the better. I guess karma was blind. By July 2001, Janet Lee went bankrupt and only had $700 left to her name. I wonder how many politicians came to give her a hand knowing she was in need. Number 3, Jonathan Vargas. In 2008, at just 19 years old, Jonathan Vargas was one lucky dude. He won an incredible $35.3 million in a Powerball jackpot. He thanked God for his win, but the biggest problem is that an immature and stupid investment led to him losing it all. Jonathan's intentions to invest may have been good. He wanted to establish a trust fund for his siblings and buy a new home for his mom. He also planned to pay his own way through college. Vargas opted for a lump sum payment of $17.3 million after taxes, which was still a huge amount for someone his age. In the beginning, he did all the right things, even consulting a financial advisor on what to do with his money. But ultimately, his choice on how to invest was the one thing that did him in. He purchased a television production company and then used that to partner with Jimmy Hart to start an all-female WWE-style wrestling league under the name Restalicious. Does that sound like a good idea to you? I'm sure Jonathan may have been fed a lot of BS here as to how he was going to make a lot of money from the show. But needless to say, the show flopped and never made it past the first season. Yikes. It was even taken off the air and was never shown again. Double yikes. Adding to his loss was his addiction to parties and beautiful women, which led to him finally going broke. Number 2, Evelyn Adams. While I wait here for Lady Luck to smile on me, she insists on smiling on other people. Evelyn Adams, who can be considered one of the luckiest women on the planet, was also not the sharpest tool in the shed. Evelyn, a clerk in a convenience store in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, won 2 lotteries on 2 different occasions. Now that's lucky. Adams won the lottery in 1985 and then again in 1986, totaling, wait for it, $5.3 million. But Evelyn wasn't satisfied enough with that amount. She was the only double lottery winner in 22 states at the time, and she received $218,000 in annual payments. Now, with that kind of money, she could have started her own convenience store, but what she did with it instead is wild. Evelyn increased her spending on lottery tickets, hoping she would win more. She paid off all of her expenses and set up a fund to pay her daughter's college fees, which was the only good thing that came out of it. The rest ended up being in the hands of many new friends and newfound relatives that Evelyn's money attracted. She began dishing out lavish gifts to people close to her. Needless to say, the loans were never repaid. If that wasn't all, her lust for gambling only increased. She moved to Atlantic City and then to Las Vegas so she could be closer to casinos, which only made matters worse. By 2012, Adams had lost huge amounts of money in dumb business deals and gambled away the rest, losing everything. You can't really call that tough luck, now can you? Number 1, Suzanne Mullins. In 1993, Suzanne Mullins struck gold when she won a whopping $4.2 million testing her luck with the lottery. That's a huge sum, and I would be happy with just $1 million. What about you? Mullins was lucky enough to match all 6 numbers in the Virginia State Lottery, but rather than accept a lump sum amount, she opted for 20 annual payments of $47,800, which she intended to share with her husband and daughter. Well, that is of course big-hearted of her, and she may have been a kind woman, but was she smart? Within just 5 years, Mullins found herself with a huge financial debt and could not even pay her household bills. Mullins was desperate and went as far as seeking a $200,000 loan from a financial institution offering her future lottery payments as collateral. Mullins could not repay the debt, and after 11 years of evading her loan payments, the company filed a lawsuit against her, claiming $154,000 in settlement, which was hilarious because she was flat broke. Mullins later explained her problems were because of her son-in-law, who needed $1 million for medical treatment because he was uninsured. If you ask me, I think Mullins probably should have consulted a financial advisor, because $4.2 million, that's a big deal. And did you know in 2004, Johnny Depp purchased an island for only $3.6 million? I'm sorry to say, but Mullins, you blew it. Thanks for watching. What do you think of these lucky people who weren't very smart with the money they won? What would you do if you won the lottery? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!